Artificial intelligence. It has changed everything. We have entered the age of AI. Smart machines have learned to solve the toughest problems of today and open the door to a bright future for humanity. We are on the verge of curing disease, reversing aging, uncovering the secrets of the universe, replacing boring repetitive work, and building a society of abundance. No more need to work. Everyone will finally be able to do what humans were made for: real art. Well, turns out the bright future didn't exactly pan out as planned. I'm Ragna, and you're watching Toxic Nordic. Let's dive into why everyone is so worked up and figure out if I can actually replace you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Back in the early 2000s, when the most of the channel viewers weren't even born yet, workers were grinding out on factory floors, changing tires, laying bricks. Meanwhile, white-collar folks were shuffling papers in offices and staring at their computers. Designers were piecing together layouts, IT specialists were lazily copy-pasting soundless code, artists were creating illustrations, and copywriters were crafting catchy sales pitches. Office jobs were usually seen as more prestigious and promising, and sometimes they even paid way better. But then, in the late 2000s, robots started replacing factory workers en masse, and it seemed like all blue-collar jobs would soon vanish, and if you couldn't do some kind of intellectual work like coding, people thought you would end up with nothing to eat. But in reality, replacing offline workers with soulless machines turned out to be very expensive and complicated, at least outside of warehouses and assembly lines. Remember how just 10 years ago they promised us that robots would replace delivery drivers, taxi drivers, and that the whole profession would disappear? Yet here we are, and those ideas haven't gone beyond a few pilot projects in select cities.
I'm in a Waymo
Connected
car.
to rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
This car is just going in circles. I got a flight to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy. Look at what it's doing.
I understand. I'm really sorry, Mike. We're currently working with the situation of the vehicle.
But things are much easier in the digital world. In 2017, Google came up with a transformer, and everyone rushed to build generative AI based on it. Digital artifacts like text, drawing, code, music are fed to neural works in one way or another, and then they start churning out their own version based on user requests. Boston Dynamics robots are still a long way from stealing jobs from plumbers, construction workers, or lumberjacks, but generative AI, it's already capable of wiping out a significant chunk of office job. Automating intellectual work turned out to be way easier than physical labor. IT specialists, for example, took the arrival of the digital overload pretty calmly. First, AI products still need to be developed and maintained, so at least in this field, jobs aren't going anywhere. And second, someone has to take responsibility for running critical systems. But artists weren't so lucky. Unlike, say, a senior Java developer or an engineer, a Forbes-listed company doesn't exactly depend on artist work. And while tools like Copilot aren't much faster at stealing code of Stack Overflow, generative AI is 1,000 times quicker than a human artist. That's why online artists are now in full-blown panic mode, overwhelmed by the sudden wave of competition. The same things happen to copywriters. AI chatbot are trained on massive amount of text, including social media articles and all that brain-numbing sales copy that copywriters have been flooding Google search results with. They were already paid peanuts, and now they're being undercut by robots. They don't need extra skills. Now, beyond writing intros for videos or manuals for coffee machine, there is not much left in this field, and as a result, many copywriters they threw in the towel and took jobs in factories only to discover, to their surprise, that it was easier and more profitable. For many humanities folks, creativity isn't just a job or interesting hobby, it's a core part of their identity. A machinist can switch to operating a different machine and nothing really changed for them, but independent, non-binary, pansexual, furry artists simply can't stop drawing these dumb foxes. It's literally foundation of their existence and personality. Add to that the huge time investment required to develop those skills, and it's become pretty clear why, out of all our technologies, text and image generation causing the most panic. But let's pause for a moment and think, what kind of content is AI actually replacing and why? Internet artists raging against AI mostly earn their living by creating stock photos or drawing all kind of weird stuff. Some manage to land jobs as illustrators, but those gigs don't pay much and often come with grueling hours. In any case, This is a low tier segment, a content sweatshop where quantity always trumps quality and creativity is entirely subordinate to craftsmanship. If you think about it, visual art always follows the same path as applied art. So in a beautiful costume can be considered art, but the bulk of seamstress work is just a routine, mindless physical labor, something that was replaced by assembly lines as soon as opportunity arose. This work can be creative under certain circumstances, but more often than not, it isn't. The same goes for an internet artist. They are not exactly Caravaggio. Most of the time, they are catering to the simplest and the most mainstream demand. It's not a real art. It's more of a craft, so replacing them with a machine was only a matter of time. And the issue isn't machine itself. The thing is, there is a massive demand for soulless AI-generated content. Somewhere out of there, people genuinely consume this stuff and they are totally fine with it. They read millions of nearly identical chatbot-written articles about pointless topics, buy AI-generated art, and even donate to virtual models on OnlyFans. Those people are literally paying random strangers on the internet to generate naked women for them. They binge endless streams of AI-edited and AI-voiced videos that YouTube and TikTok eagerly flood their feeds with. There is even a whole army of influencers teaching people how to crack out more of this junk and make money of it because, for some reason, a significant chunk of audience love gobbling up this crap. Most humanities folks protesting against AI aren't competing for a spot in the sun, okay? They are fighting over the same undemanded audience, the kind that perfectly fine listening to a robot voice reading ChatGPT essay about some pointless crap instead of finding a decent video, movie, or game. Meanwhile, people who creating genuinely interesting cultural products are still being watched and listened to. Why? Because they are simply good at what they do, because they can bring their charisma, life experience, emotion, and unique perspective in their life. AI, as it exists now, simply can't do any of that, and if a machine is creating content better than a human, it's a sign that a human weren't adding any personal touch to begin with. Speaking of blaming the artists, remember when Hollywood screenwriters went on strike against ChatGPT? They even managed to snag a few perks for themselves, but here's the kicker. Their jobs are the easiest for AI to replace. Just look at recent Marvel movies. There is no way I could do worse. And guess what? AI contenders are already here. In Russia, a little girl once asked Yandex chatbot, their version of Google, why Masha from Masha and the Bear lives alone in the forest. And chatbot replies with a story so dark it would put Hollywood screenwriters to shame. Masha, it's explained, is actually the ghost of a murdered girl. That's why she doesn't age and only animals can see her. Her parents, unable to bear the grief of losing their child, left the house abandoned. And Masha now roamed the forest alone to orphan the bear, who, as it turns out, was the reason for her death. Those psychedelic ramblers from AI already step above average Hollywood movie, and if screenwriters can clear even that low bar, maybe studios really should stock up on GPUs and start learning how to write prompts. But back to the point. AI content exists because there is an audience for it. Content that's crappy, repetitive, and completely devoid any personal touch. It's not going anywhere anytime soon because people demand it. But it's not going to kill real art either, just like cameras didn't kill painting and radio didn't kill live music. But if AI content still triggers you, maybe it's time to move out from cheap and crappy segment.